Hi guys, and welcome to Mikey's Kitchen, the first episode. So, a few minutes ago I had everything ready, and of course, being new to this, we did everything correct except starting the camera. So there's a few steps that I'm actually going to repeat to make the marinade for this. And tonight's dish will be chicken
Tandoori.
Thank you. My brain left me. Chicken tandoori. Tandoori is an Indian spice. It is an Indian spice blend or style of cooking, where it's done in a clay oven. Really nice. You know, I don't have one. I don't know too many people that do have them, so a regular oven works just fine. You're not going to get the blackening of the skin. You can do it on a grill and get that. Unfortunately, it's raining today, and well, we're not going to do it out on the grill. I'm getting together a few ingredients right now. Most you should already have in your pantry, and I will go over with shortly as soon as I remember where I put them all. Second go around, it's always much more fun. Okay, let me get a bowl that you guys can actually see. I am going to tell you the proper measurements. I am not going to use the proper measurements because I just don't need much more of this marinade. First, you want to start with 1 full cup of whatever your favorite plain unsweetened yogurt. Don't make the mistake like I did once making this and picked up vanilla. Yeah, not so good. Not so good. So, we are going to move over to ginger paste. I'll cover the name on here. Garlic and ginger paste. It's very common in your Asian restaurants. If you want to mix it yourself, you can. But honestly, this is just as good. You want 2 full tablespoons. I'm going to only use 1 tablespoon. This, another favorite. There is a reason it's inside of 2 jars.
Oh.
Its nickname in India is the devil's dung. The devil's dung. Its correct name is asafoetida. It is a part of a plant. It's very pungent. You only use a very, very small amount. The flavor mellows out extensively when you cook it, and it mellows down to more of a almost a fried onion and garlic taste. Really, really good. So you want about 1 tablespoon of an authentic curry. I use Lala's. You can usually get that online if you don't have an international mart near you. This is another spice, somewhat hard to find, but I've noticed more and more health nuts are starting to get into it. It is called Indian black salt or kala namak. It also is a very, very pungent salt. It's mineral-laced, natural, volcanic salt that has a egg-like scent, a very strong sulfur. Some say gaseous smell. Quite delicious, though. Quite delicious. It's used by a lot of vegetarians when they're wanting to make something to resemble an egg flavor, like maybe a hard-boiled egg salad. That would be great with your tofu. You get pretty much the same thing. This is a vindaloo spice mix. I'm only using 1/8 of a teaspoon. You want to use a full tablespoon in your mix. And the last will be plain old white American pepper. Now, for those of you, of course, that pepper's to taste. For those of you who do like a hot curry, my curries are kind of right in the middle. You can add a Indian red pepper flake. You can use the pepper flake like you put on your pizza. You can also use cayenne pepper, any kind of a pepper pretty much that you like. You build your spice how you like. This is the mix. It becomes a very interesting color, and as I said, I knew I would forget something. I did forget one ingredient. Turmeric. I use the powder, not the root, because it stains way, way too much. If you guys eat a lot of mustard, the yellow color doesn't come from the mustard seed. The yellow color comes from turmeric. Run to your kitchen and look, you'll see it on the label, yay! Yeah, right there with your vinegar. You don't need a whole lot of it. The stuff is... People compare this to like an Indian paprika. Not a whole lot of flavor, but it is packed with nutrition, and it's pretty. It's gold. Come on. Who doesn't like gold, right? Get your marinade mixed very, very good. The color is maybe a little off-putting, but trust me, it's delicious. It does have that mustard hue. Now, where we started earlier, I already have my chicken marinating. Use any type of chicken that you want to use. You can also use a tofu block if you want. Just make sure you press it and get the liquid out of it, or it's just going to turn out into a mess. So back to the real thing, chicken. And yes, I do talk a lot about vegetarian. I am a new vegetarian, 2 weeks in, but I do plan on trying the chicken tonight. It's kind of my breakaway. I'm doing this for weight loss and health reasons. So you want to put this over your entire mix, over about 4 pounds of chicken. I'm using 4/4 myself. Massage it in. Depending on how hot you have made it, or how much you like your Indian spices or spice in general, depends on how long you want to marinate this. Personally, today we're going to do this for about 30 minutes, which it's already got a good 15 on it. At the 15-minute mark, if you want a much stronger spice, just go ahead and cut a few slits in it. I'll show you, for example. Just go down your back, make you a quick slit, and push your spice mix down into it, your marinade mix. And that is pretty much it for 30 minutes. This would be a good time to start washing your rice, if you so wash your rice. If not, I'll show you how when we get back. Our chicken is marinated for about 20-25 minutes, and it is ready to pan up. I would preheat your oven now to about 425 to 450. That's any elevation, no matter where you're at. And yes, that matters to bakers. All of y'all bakers. So, we're going to lay ours out. I can only fit 3 on this pan. You can see the skin of the chicken is already stained yellow. That's from the turmeric. What I did miss in redoing this, and I apologize, I missed 2 tablespoons of garam masala powder in your mix, so you may want to add that. Trust me, when all of this is added together, there won't be such a big gap. So, we're just going to set this aside. The next thing we're going to do is start our rice. After we put this in the oven. We would like it cooked, right? Okay, rice. The most Indian, and personally, my go-to rice I use every day is basmati rice. It is a little bit more expensive, but it is definitely worth getting. It is a long grain rice. It cooks with the perfect ratio of 2 to 1. 2 parts of water to 1 part of rice. Today we're going to be doing a cup and a half of basmati. So you want to use 3 full cups of water. With basmati, the best way that I found, get a nutty flavor, get a little bit of ghee, clarified butter, regular butter. I don't really suggest margarine. Margarine just doesn't have that good of a flavor. And no, I'm not that uppity, but come on, butter's better.
Yeah.
Once your oil gets warm, your butter, ghee, you want to add about a scant teaspoon of fenugreek. Fenugreek is nutty, mapley, not really sweet, but you do want to add it to the oil to get the oils of the spice to flavor your rice. At this time, you can also add your rice and toast it just a little bit. It does give a little bit more flavor. I personally do not salt my rice because typically whatever dish I'm going to be serving it with will be salty enough. If you plan on having this maybe by itself, if you ever just like a bowl of rice, some people might. You may want to add a little bit of salt to it. I just don't use a lot. The more you heat up your rice, it starts getting a white color. You really don't want it to get too much of a brown. You take a chance of scorching even one piece in here, you pretty much ruin the batch of rice, in my opinion, because you're not just scorching the rice, you're also scorching the butter, the ghee, which by reducing butter on the stove, you want to cook as much of the water, and there is still water in, you want to cook as much of it off as possible, and you'll get some butter solids on the bottom. That is so good when it's browned. It's called brown butter. You guys can put that on toast with a little marmalade. Really, really good. So, back to the rice. You bring it up to a boil completely, put a lid on it, turn it down to your lowest setting, which is mine is simmer. And I know black shows everything. Oh look, a bread tie. We'll save that for later. You can close. Does anybody get that joke? Come on. Okay, come over here and take a look. You'll see that most of the grease has cooked off. The chicken is ready. We'll be pulling that out in just a second. And as I said with your rice, turn it up to a boil, turn it down to extremely low, and you have absolutely perfect rice. Fluffy, nothing stuck. And all in all, there might be a tablespoon of butter in here. And like I said, I didn't add any salt because the spices in your chicken do have salt in it. Some of you may want to add more. Hey, great, grab the shaker at the table. That's a good thing with salt. You can always add more, but you can't take it away once it's in there. Taste your food, know your food, know what you like, know what you don't like. I can post 1,000 recipes on any site. I can write a book. What it boils down to, it may not be something that necessarily you like immediately. Or there may be a recipe that I have on there. I'll throw an example out, potato salad. I put something in it that you don't like. That doesn't mean you're going to ruin the recipe by leaving that ingredient out. Test what you like. Play around in the kitchen. Be a little bit adventurous sometimes. Find an ingredient that you may not be familiar with. Try it. What's the worst that can happen? You don't like it. And it turns out really bad. Another great resource, of course, is YouTube. Find something you like, play with it. Like I said, with restaurants, if you go out and eat a lot, try making it at home. Try something that's not out of a box, that's not out of a can, that's not frozen and handed to you. Make it yourself, and you'll probably find out that you've done it a whole lot better than what you've been buying, and a lot cheaper. This is the color you want, or even a little bit darker. Your skin is crisp. It is absolutely amazing. I'm going to show you guys a nice little way and a trick to serve your rice and to serve your chicken. And this goes for any dish where, any dish that you have rice with. A nice little way to serve it. Don't drain off all your grease right away. Your guests are hungry, they're waiting. You hear the crispness on there? And I'm telling you, that yellow will stain everything. That's the turmeric again, if you remember. So, here's the trick. Get you A small cup, even a small coffee cup will work. Place your rice in it. You're curious about, maybe you are watching your weight and you want to stick with your serving size. Pack it down just a little bit. Turn it over on the side of your plate, and you have one perfect serving of rice. You can do vegetables with this. If you're going with Indian, you can do a dal, which is cooked lentils. Lentils should always be cooked down to a paste because they're such a small bean, a legume, that they really do turn into a paste. Seems like we've already got some fans in the kitchen tonight. Thank you guys for coming in for my very first show on this channel. Thank you all. I want to thank our Facebook Live cameraman, Sam, camera woman, camera lady, our cameraman behind, which is a full-timer, that's Roy, and myself, Mikey. Thank you for coming to my kitchen. I'll see you next week. Ain't it party?